Hello and welcome. It's time for Reads of the Week. That time of the week when I show off comic books that I've read this week and talk about them in brief and give them arbitrary, completely meaningless rankings. Don't you love it? I hope you do. Here's just a couple of the books. I need something to put at the start of the video, and I've decided that just being like doesn't make for a good thumbnail. So we should start with like the bad stuff, right? Like the stuff that wasn't really worth reading. I mean, that's kind of what we do. We start with the bad and we move to the good. And kind of hard to figure out what I want to say is bad. And I guess it's going to be some of this reprinted stuff. Let's start with like the book that I liked the least. Now, whether it's bad or not probably depends on your own opinions of what you think about this era, but I thought that this Avengers era was stupid. I've read a couple of the books; they're not that great, and it's written by Mark Waid, or at least his name's on the book, so you know it's garbage. And sure enough, it is. And I'm not that enamored of. I think it's the new 52 Harley. I'm not that enamored of that. I don't know that it's bad. I just don't think I'm the right audience for it. And while I'm at it, there's one more book that I am definitely not the right. Oh, you know what? I am. Gosh, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm just totally. I'm flubbing this. I'm flubbing this. All right. So without question, without any question, let's start over. Let's start over. Without any question, this one is the worst. Do you know why? Hold on. I'll just show it to you. If nothing else in this book turns you off, nothing else makes your stomach churn with disgust, that panel ought to do it, because that is the dumbest thing that Marvel has ever done. It's not the dumbest thing Marvel has ever done, but it's up there. It is up there. That's retarded. No offense to anybody, and I apologize for saying that. Red Hulk doesn't need it. It's like, why? That's stupid. The rest of the book's not much better. It's all about how Banner wants to die. Bleh, bleh. It's bad. And I'm gonna put this one here. Not because the art in this is bad. I don't want anybody to take that away from this video. I'm not saying that the art this thing is actually bad, but I've seen bits and pieces of people showing the actual book on Twitter. This is the nepotism book. J.J. Abrams' kid never in 30 years would be allowed to write Spider-Man if he wasn't J.J. Abrams' kid. I hit the camera with these comic books. That's how incensed I am. Don't support this kind of nepotistic crap. This kid probably shouldn't have a career. J.J. Abrams, just it's bad. It's bad for the industry. It's bad for you. It's bad for me. The next two books, I'm going to rephrase what I said. It's not that this is bad. I'm not the audience. It's okay. In fact, there's some nice looking art in it. Oh, actually, that's all this whole book here is. This whole free preview of their Spider-Man #1 whatever series is. This is some really nice looking art, and it's in service to nepotism. It's in service to corruption. That's a shame. That is an absolute shame. Whereas this Harley book here, I don't really find this Harley too funny, but the book looks pretty good. I'm not going to complain about the way this book looks. It's nice enough looking, and there's some good bits in it. So, I'm just not the target audience for it, and I can accept that. And so even though I'm ranking it on the bottom side below the okay, just know that a lot of people would say this is great. And you might even think this is great. And there's absolutely no shame in that. I'm not saying that this is actually bad. It's just not for me. Same thing with this little preview here. I kind of like some of the art in this. The emotions on her face, I love them. The distress through her nightmare there as Trigon is talking to her. It's great stuff. It looks nice. I'm just not a 12-year-old girl, so it does not do anything for me. Even though you know, I'm going to dox myself. My name's Elizibar. Even though that's true, um, I'm just not that into it. All right, so we are done with that stuff. Let's move into the okay. You know, I'm looking at these books this week, and I'm trying real hard to figure out what just fits into the okay. And I guess this does. I can't show you literally any of this book. Not that there's anything explicit, but I don't think I can show it to you on YouTube. So it's a hyper-violent comic written by Glenn Danzig. That's really all there is to say. This whole thing is just like one big violent fight between Satanica and this big bulky demon dude, and that's it. That's it. We're done. All right, great. This one I have a hard time classifying where I want to put it because I really enjoyed reading Xenon. I thought this was a ton of fun, but at the same time, it just kept reminding me of other things that I know are better, or at least better known. Things that I've seen in the past, like Guyver and stuff. Like that's really what this was making me think of the whole time. And I see like characters that are ripped from other comics and stuff. But at the same time, I had a blast reading it. If you see any of these books just laying around in a 50-cent bin, you might want to go for it. You might just want to go for it. I am your karma, Asaka! Oh. This dude, like, I think just about every time you see him, he's like screaming at the camera. It's great. It's great. Oh, plus one of these books has this really great motorcycle. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I think it's here in number 19, so let me just get that out. Because the book tends to do like one issue where things are like super exciting, and then one issue that's kind of down, depending on the chapter of the manga. Yeah, look at this motorcycle. Like, that is a lovingly rendered motorcycle with a lady upon it who is also lovingly rendered. It's good stuff. It absolutely is. Look how much time went into like drafting that motorcycle. This guy, whoever this artist is, whoever Masaomi Kanzaki is, he just really wanted to draw that motorcycle, man. It's kind of like Sean Gordon Murphy drawing all those Batmobiles. You know, there was no reason to put that much love into him. It's totally unnecessary, but he did anyway. All right, let's kind of clear the table a little bit. Let's get the not so good stuff. Just put it to the side. Over here. We got the okay stuff. And is there anything else above the threshold of awesome? Oh, I think so. Like, maybe just barely in some cases. But yeah, I think... Oh, nope, sorry. I almost forgot Elvira. It's funny, and it's way better than the previous issues, but it is not above the threshold of awesome. We'll just put this here in okay. And okay is just kind of like a big mess. Like, this is probably the bottom of okay, but which of these I like better, Xenon or Elvira? I couldn't tell you. All right, we'll just sit this to the side. We'll just sit that over there. The problem now that I'm faced with is I got all this stuff that's above the threshold of awesome, and ranking it is kind of hard. I guess we can... Oh, no, I missed one. This should just be counted in the okay category. In fact, it's probably below Xenon. I only liked like 2 of the 4 stories in this thing. It's all right. There's a lot of good art in it. If you want to know what I think about this from last month's issue, just go watch my review. Like I kind of go into all that stuff. All right, okay. Now I think we're really ready for awesome, and we'll put this right at the bottom. The best bit in this whole book is the log story by far. There's the Gods and Gears story has some nice color work in it. I wish it was even better. Agent 81, I didn't like the coloring in that. The actual action in the story was pretty cool. The Mr. Cripps strip was funny. But we'll just put this like barely over the threshold of awesome. It's like a 9.01 out of 10, you know? You know what I'm saying? Where awesome is above 9. Then these Hulk books are probably next. This was just awesome. It's Bruce Banner dealing with his psychological issues. Go watch my review. This is just chock full of good stuff. And I don't want to go into it again, because if I do, I'll spend the rest of the video talking about it. And this one, absolutely, completely took me by surprise because I flipped through it on my new comic book day stream. Was not impressed at all. I'm like, Hulk ain't even in this Hulk book. Then I actually read it, and Hulk was all over the Hulk book. Threshold of awesome. Oh, you know what? We should put these out on our Wednesdays on the bottom here. Just we'll build the foundation of awesome. There we go. Now the tower of awesome has begun. What's next? Oh boy. I got to put this here. Like, Hush is a lot of fun, and it's great that they're reprinting that here. But I just read Hush in the Batman 100-page Giants, so I didn't need to read it again. You know what I'm saying? It seems kind of superfluous. Like, who hasn't read Hush at this point? So while it's good, it's not at the top because the top's full of other stuff. Then I think I got to put like Fallen World over here. This is a great wrap up. I just wish it wasn't ending here and the series just kind of kept going. But you know how Valiant is. They just like to stop and give us a new miniseries. That's just how they roll. Oh, I think we're gonna like put these two at a tie. Vampirella #3, and then the Wicked Righteous whole series because that's the trade. Vampirella is really starting to make sense. The crazy shenanigans she's getting up to is great. Her mother showing up is great. Her banter with the psychologist, her mother's banter with the psychologist. It's all just great stuff, bouncing back and forth. There's a nice chunk of action. It explains a lot of stuff that's going on. For an issue full of exposition, it was surprisingly fun. And if you're watching this on the 25th when it first goes up, my review of this just went up yesterday. It's a post-apocalyptic story, vaguely like The Stand, only if The Stand was an action movie instead of whatever it was that we were graced with. Yeah, if you saw my review of the first one and you didn't watch my review of the second one, you're surprised by Once and Future #2 showing up here, aren't you? You are. Don't be ashamed to admit you are in fact le surprised. That's French. It means the surprised. I really like the art. This issue kind of relates a lot of the worries I had about the political tone of the book. And you know what? Gosh darn it, I'm just going to enjoy a good story. And by process of elimination, #1 for this week, Absolute Carnage #3. Just like I said for Absolute Carnage #2, the only thing I didn't like about this issue was the fact that it ended. The whole story is about Venom and Eddie, the symbiote and the man, having a conflict with each other. Which one wins, which one won't. And it ends in like one of the coolest, craziest things that you've probably never expected to see in a comic book. But if you were 12 at one point in your life and you liked Marvel Comics, you probably thought, boy, wouldn't it be cool if? And then that thing was the if. And that's it. That's my reads of the week. We had a lot of great stuff. I think that's mostly because I tend to end up buying stuff I think I'm going to really like. And then it turns out that I really like it. Who could ever have guessed that? Who could have ever guessed that? Thank you for joining me. If you got something that you're reading out there, something you think is really dope, and you want me to check it out, let me know. I'm always looking for new stuff to read. I may not be able to get to it very quickly, like somebody requested me to read a older Project Superpowers issue and review it, and I didn't get to that for like 4 months. I don't even think that person watches my channel anymore, for which I apologize, person, that I am so slow. But stuff goes on my list to read, to check out, and it doesn't leave that list. It just doesn't go away until I actually do it, until I fulfill my obligation, even if my obligation is fulfilled rather late. All right, I've been super wordy. You all have a great day, great night, great whatever you got going on. I hope to see you again next time. And until then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.